am, yeah. I do, a mate of mine. Yeah, he knows a long way of history and rugby. I played for Brothers first and then I ended up with Wallabies.
That's all right. Just pan. Just pan. I think that's...
Okay, you ready? Yeah, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we are in Janoo. All these beautiful photos. Everyone's right? Okay, well, I'm pleased to be here for the first time at Injanoo, and what a historic day. I'm very pleased to be joined by Minister Scanlon, Minister Butcher, and of course local member Cynthia Louie. And today is a very historic day. Many years in the making, 360,000 hectares transferred and will be managed by traditional owners. Amazing. So many different groups that have come together as one to reach this historic agreement. It's been a deep honour to be here today to sign the ILUA, but also to Minister Scanlon signed the agreement where there's joint traditional owners and Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service will jointly manage the beautiful national parks in this beautiful part of the world. And can I say, this is my first visit here. Apparently it's the first time a Premier has been here. And I'm going to say to each and every Queenslander, this is a beautiful piece of Queensland and you should come and enjoy it and bring your families. The people are warm and friendly. It's a deep honour to be here. It's been a moving, emotional day. And also too, we've also changed 2 names from the national parks back to their traditional names as well. So that's another part of the historic agreement that has been reached today. So as you can see, my cabinet and ministers have been out and about in the furthest northern parts of our state over the last few days. And as I said, we will continue to govern for everyone. And that means, of course, delivering better services and, of course, protecting our great Queensland lifestyle. So I'll hand over to Minister Scanlon to say a few words and Cynthia, and then we're happy to take a few brief questions.
Thanks, Premier. Well, a fantastic and historic day. This Cape York Tenure Resolution program is a Labor legacy. It was started by a former Labor government and we're really proud to continue that tradition. This program is fundamentally about land justice, about righting some of the wrongs of the past. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land, and this is about making sure traditional owners are very much at the forefront when it comes to managing these lands, and that their aspirations are absolutely what the Queensland Government puts at the centre. And so it's just been an absolute honour today to be here with traditional owners, elders, to hear about some of the painful pasts and try to right some of those wrongs. And, you know, I want to acknowledge the advocacy of Cynthia Louis as well, the first ever Torres Strait Islander elected to the Queensland Parliament. Her advocacy in what we've been able to do over the last week has been instrumental in some of the achievements that we're now going to be able to make. So thank you very much, Premier. Thank you, Cynthia, and also Glenn, who I know is the ministerial champion here. Thanks.
Thank you. Such an exciting day for the people of the Northern Peninsula area, but in particular the traditional owners of the land. I'm excited to be here. It's a privilege and an honour to witness what took place, to see traditional land being handed back to traditional people. I'm so proud of the government that we have in this day, because we are working with First Nations people right across, and today what we've seen is a rewrite of the future. We are setting the path for a bright and newer future for all people in Queensland.
Any questions? Yep.
Can someone speak to the specifics of what this means in terms of land size and next steps in terms of renaming the national parks, etc.?
Yeah, I'll get Megan to say a few more words about that, but around 360,000 hectares, which is essentially like the size of Greater Brisbane, has been handed back to the traditional owners. And when you talk about path to treaty, when you talk about acknowledging the past, when you talk about having a future together, this is a clear demonstration of government working with traditional owners to bring about this great outcome. There's also a lot of job opportunities as well, and this means that the young children here today have a very, very bright future, where they are part and parcel managing their own lands, developing ecotourism, but also to some names that have caused hurt in the past, where there has been some injustices, those names will be returned to their traditional names.
Again, just what do some of those jobs, potential jobs, look like? There's industries like carbon farming as well as tourism. What do some of those jobs potentially look like?
Yeah, well, there's a whole range. There's the whole ecotourism, and this morning when we arrived here, we saw a whole lot of tourists that were boarding the boat, going over to Thursday Island, but they've been spending time here in community. And of course, we had COVID, where we were, basically we didn't travel outside Australia for a couple of years. So now there's an opportunity for Queenslanders to really discover Queensland and learn about our history. We have a wonderful history. Our First Nations people have been the custodians of this land for more than 60,000 years. And as we go towards constitutional recognition, where I absolutely support the Prime Minister in this quest, and a voice to Parliament, this is about empowering and recognising that our First Nations people have a proud cultural history, a proud legacy, and we should acknowledge that. And today, speaking with the elders, and I acknowledge that some of those elders who fought for this are no longer with us, and I pay my respects to them today as well. Megan?
Yeah, there are a whole range of job opportunities when it comes to this program and what we're announcing today. Of course, we're seeing carbon farming across the state and First Nations communities really leading the way in those job opportunities, but also, as the Premier mentioned, ecotourism opportunities. This was quite a complex land negotiation that went on for many, many years. There's multiple clan groups, and so there's a lot of work that's gone into today's celebration and a lot of economic opportunity to come from it. There's obviously also joint management of those national parks, so that's critical. We know, our First Nations communities were the traditional custodians of this land for thousands and thousands of years. They've cared for country, and they rightfully are the best people to be able to work with Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service to manage these really important ecosystems. So this is really important for our environment, but it's also important in terms of what it means for First Nations people and what it means for Queensland.
Could you elaborate on what joint management means?
Yeah, so joint management is an agreement which we signed today with First Nations traditional owners and the Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service. It means that both the Queensland Government and traditional owners are coming together to jointly manage those areas. We acknowledge, as I said, the immense knowledge that traditional owners have, and this is about making sure that we embed that in our management practices within these beautiful national parks. Excellent.
A couple of other questions.
I don't know.